What's up, guys? It's Jason with the MP3D, and today I'm here with my son Joshua, and we got a review for you on Avengers Endgame. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's right, guys. We're here. I'm here with my son. We just finished watching the Avengers Endgame just this past week, and we thought it'd be really cool to do just a little bit of a review for you guys. We are not going to do any spoilers. Right?
Absolutely not. No spoilers whatsoever. We'll try our best here.
Yeah, we're trying not to do any spoilers. So if you guys have not watched the movie, obviously we don't want to ruin it for you because just to kind of caveat to all of this is that being a teacher, my students think it's funny sometimes to tell me things. They know I love everything Marvel, but I had a student the day before I went to the movie, believe it or not, told me that the ending to the movie, and I'm not going to ruin it for you, but just for fun, yes, he did tell me the ending, but I've kind of told him everything he told me was a lie, and I've been messing with him every day. I told him he must have watched some bootleg version off the internet, and it was wrong. So if anybody tells you a spoiler, don't let them have the satisfaction of knowing that they ruined the movie. But he did kind of ruin the ending for me, but it's okay because in the end we're just fans. All right, today we're going to talk about the Endgame, the movie. We're going to kind of tell you a little bit about our thoughts on it and why you need to go see it, who needs to see it. So first up, let's talk about where we are in the universe right now. Before you watch the movie, obviously, tell them about kind of the last movie we saw before this movie, the Endgame.
Oh, yeah, Infinity War. Infinity War was a crazy movie. It was totally, we were expecting something crazy to happen, but it was not, it was nowhere near. Our expectations were nowhere near what it had in store for us. It was really just, it ended on such a crazy note that no one expected.
I know, we went to the movie, and I remember leaving the movie and us sitting in the car, and us just sitting and being quiet for a minute. Because if you've not seen the last movie, Infinity War, it did something that many of the movies never do. They always leave openings, but this one was almost like, wow, this just really happened. Is it okay to kind of talk about Infinity War? This is not a spoiler on Endgame. If you've not watched Infinity War, I'm sorry, we're going to ruin that for you, but everybody dies.
About most of the characters that we know die, all but the original 6.
The original 6 characters, which are Iron Man, Captain America,
Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and in this movie, Hawkeye returns.
He does make a return, and I think for a lot of fans, they were really disappointed in basically Hawkeye's appearance in the last movie. But if you're sad about that, I don't think it's a spoiler, but he returns this movie, and
he's back.
He's back.
He delivers. Yeah, he
delivers. I'm really excited with that character, and I think that I think you guys will be too. But let's kind of talk about our thoughts about the whole series in general. It's been 11 years.
22 movies.
22 movies, counting Endgame. That's 22 movies. You're 18, so
I know.
You were 8 years old when all this was going on, this started, so this has been a long time coming, and this is really cool because being my son here, we've kind of enjoyed this together. We've watched the movies together. We always sit down and watch the movies. We get them for Christmas, or I get them for Easter, and we always sit down and watch them, so this is a big thing. So when we found out the Endgame was coming, we wanted to go ahead and get tickets quickly.
We got them immediately. We had a really good friend. Notifications.
They know Zach. He's been on videos before.
Yep. The moment the notifications popped up to get those tickets, we were on it. We
wanted to see it opening night. We didn't get it as early as we wanted it, but anyway.
First day is not something at all to be ashamed of.
No. So first off, let's talk about Endgame and who needs to see this movie. Who do you think needs to see this movie?
Oh boy. Well, starting off, it's a phenomenal movie. It's
3 hours and 50 minutes.
For a 3-hour movie, it is phenomenal.
It's definitely not a snoozer. So let's go ahead and say that. A lot of times you watch a 3-hour movie and
you can feel it. You can feel it's 3 hours.
Yes, it's. Gods and Generals was a Civil War movie I watched, and no offense to anybody, but I fell asleep in it. It had an intermission, and I was asleep. But this one, you're not going to fall asleep. But let's talk about that without it being a spoiler. We kind of want to talk to you about kind of who should see this movie and then why.
Oh boy!
If you've not been watching the series up to this point, you probably don't.
Probably should avoid this movie. This movie is certainly not for people who are just getting into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's definitely not a movie if you have not seen Infinity War. Infinity War is a must.
Oh my gosh, avoid this movie if you've not watched Infinity War.
It will make no... Well, you can put things together, but it will not not nearly make as much sense.
Yeah, and then the reason we say that is because they allude to and flash back to movies that in the series that you're not going to understand what's going on, and even in that there were a lot of things. If you're not a true Marvel fan and you've not watched the deleted scenes and stuff like that, you may not understand some of the references because they actually used deleted scenes from other movies.
There are a ton of references. It is the fan service movie. And that's not a bad thing whatsoever. It's absolutely good.
Explain what that means. Fan service.
They're showing us the stuff that we want to see as the fans, but it's not like a sellout thing. It's what we've been expecting, what they've been building up, and it's a conclusion to that.
Yeah, and I'll say that we made a lot of what we thought were going to be like. What do we think are predictions? What's going to happen?
A lot of predictions.
And I would say to you, if you've made a lot of those predictions and things, there's some things you're not going to miss.
Even though we made a lot of predictions, I'd say that a lot of them we were blown back.
Yeah, I think so. I think even with the predictions we made, even the things that the internet had put out there as they thought was going to happen, just avoid those because honestly, they miss on a lot of things. Now, you're going to hit some things. You're going to throw a dart in the pond and you're going to hit something eventually. But in all, this movie hits the mark. Okay, so let's talk about the tone and feel of this movie because with a 3-hour movie, there's a lot of things, and I want to say that this movie almost has like a 3-part saga.
It's
so first hour.
It's
what
would
you compare it to?
It's different from.
We're dealing with
Marvel
it.
movies.
So now we're dealing with it with Infinity War. 50% of the population and most of the superheroes are
gone.
Gone.
But
so talk about the first hour.
I mean, and here's the thing: it's a 3-hour movie, and that first part of the movie, like we said, if you haven't seen Infinity War, definitely watch that. But it's an emotional roller coaster. It's slow, but it's slow because it needs to be slow. It's slow given the previous events that have happened. It's deserved.
Yeah, I would think so because if you watch Infinity War, some of your favorite characters die. I mean, Spider-Man.
Absolutely. And that leaves a mark. It certainly leaves a mark.
That stung a bit, and so you can't have a character like Spider-Man die and there not be that time to mourn. Now, I think they do a good job.
It's different. Well, it's a different thing because this is a movie. It's a movie about wrapping things up. It's a movie about dealing with what happened in the previous movie, and each character has their own particular struggle and arc that they're going through, and the movie handles it brilliantly.
Yeah, I would say a lot of movies miss the mark, but this one doesn't do that. I feel like they take the time to talk about Hawkeye. They take the time to talk about Iron Man. They take the time to talk about all of these 6 characters that you've grown to love.
And other characters, of course. We're talking about the Avengers, but of course there are other characters that survive. Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves a mark.
Oh my gosh, he lost all of his friends.
Even being the only Guardian.
Yeah, he's the Guardian of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing for a raccoon that's been genetically engineered to fly a ship.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. But in saying that, the expectations were that when you watch any movie in the Marvel Universe, if you're a comic book fan, you know that anything's possible in comics. So I guess after watching Infinity War, we realized that this can't be it. I mean, so...
Well, what's next? That's the thing. After a movie, one, as good as this one, you've got a lot of expectations to kind of deal with, because after a movie as grand as this, as spectacular as this, you're obviously going to have to either A, lower our expectations, or really come out with something that's crazy.
And I
blows
guess,
us away.
yeah, and I think kind of the cool thing with the Marvel Universe is they've kind of been hinting to is that they're going to jump around. They're going to show you the alternate universes.
They've got a lot to go off of. They've still got a lot to go off of.
And because we've spent the weekend and we know what happens, this movie has smashed box office records. It was $1.2 billion opening weekend. So if you've not watched it,
it's just a... It's crazy. It's game changing. It's the end game.
It's there. It is. It's the end game. So I guess for us, what's next? We don't really know. Honestly, we hope there's a lot. That's the thing. You hope.
With a year-long break, you hope that they're gonna deliver.
Yeah,
something.
they've got a movie coming in July, and that's a Spider-Man movie. We know that's coming, but as far as what's going to happen with these characters, if you're a comic book fan, there's things afterwards, but this leaves us wanting. But I do believe that with this huge success of this movie, I think that it's going to really... They're going to be debating on where they go next with this because, if you're someone who thinks about money, you're going to think a certain way. This movie this saga has to continue. If you're someone who's like, hey, I'm a realist, this happened, it's the end game. Mm-hmm. So, but I think overall, I think it's a movie that if you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you need to go see it. If you've not watched it, if you've got a kid who loves comics and things like that, you need to start from and watch them all.
Yes, if you have a chance to, and you're a big fan, just go through, watch all the movies.
Yeah,
watch all the movies.
Would you say a certain order on any of the other ones? Because they kind of...
obviously get the origin stories down.
Yeah, like Iron Man would be probably start with that. Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that even they use a whole lot of even the sequels.
They really do.
Iron Man 2, 3, Thor Ragnarok. There's a lot of stuff having to do with those movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's just a lot of character development. So I'm interested to see what happens now that the end game has occurred. So anyway, I guess with this, we just wanted to let you guys know that it is a movie that you must see. It's a movie that you've got to see so you don't get it ruined for you.
Absolutely.
We loved it. I think we're going to try to watch it again soon because there's so many.
If we can, because theaters are still packed.
Yeah, it's still packed. So get out, watch it. As you guys can tell, we're huge Marvel fans, from all my stuff on my channel. But anyway, just for you guys that are thinking about going to see it, you've got to go see it. And I'll just say thank you so much. I'm really close to 1,000 subscribers right now. I'm at 727.
Hey,
I
you're
think.
getting there. Yeah.
Hey, and I'm looking to get to 1,000 this year, so that's a huge thing. But thank you guys so much for watching our videos. I've actually got some more things that I'm going to be putting out, but you guys please hit the notification bell so you know when my content comes out. But for myself and my son Joshua, thank you guys so much, and just have fun and experience these movies with your family and friends. If nothing else, it's just a really cool time.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, so from MP3D, you guys, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon.